You know, if a guy gets traded or if a guy gets waived or if a guy gets released or cut or whatever, then it's for the best of the franchise, which I agree. I mean, teams have to do what's best for their franchise to set them up for their near future or for the present. But at the same time, players have that ability to do as well. And if a player asks to be traded because he feel like it's for the better of his profession, for the better of his career, that should be the same conversation. That should be the same narrative, and not that this guy or this kid or whatever the case may be is selfish or ungrateful. I see it from both sides. I see it from both angles, both franchise and players. But it's just a narrative that we would like to be able to be changed. But I think it was unfortunate, the Harrison Barnes piece, though.
Stephen A., what do you think of the clarification there by LeBron?
I have no problem with the clarification. I think that he was being incredibly politically correct, yet articulate and astute in his analysis. He's coming from. LeBron James is a basketball player, and even though he's got the shop on HBO and various other things, there's certain things that he could say but wouldn't necessarily be advisable for him to say, nor any of those other guys, so I'm going to do it for them. Being a young black man, people assume when you are a marquee athlete that you should be grateful for what you have and more appreciative for what you have, as opposed to treating you as if you are someone who has earned what you have achieved, whether it's riches and fame, wealth, whatever the case may be. It is very, very few people in our society, at least from an optics perspective, that view the modern day professional athletes, specifically in the sports of the NBA and the NFL, where a vast majority of them are black. There are very few people that look at them and say, wow, way to go, you earned it. They are looked upon as individuals who should be grateful and thankful for what they have earned. So when they do anything to flex their muscle, to show their resolve, their influence, their power or whatsoever, when it comes to deals, forcing your way out of a situation or what have you, they are viewed with negativity. They are viewed as people who are unappreciative and ungrateful for the position that they are in. And what LeBron James was saying last night was, that's cool. Just do it with the executives and the teams as well. Don't sit up there and say it's just business with them. But when it comes to us, we are pariahs because we're selfish and ungrateful and not appreciative of something that we have earned. These are the kind of things that black athletes have been telling me for the better part of 2 decades. They speak about it religiously. They know that saying so publicly will get in the way of their brands. It will compromise their ability to monetize themselves more exponentially than they already have. And it's just not worth it just to say something for 10, 15 seconds or a minute or whatever the case may be to most of them. That's why they look at folks like myself and others, and they're like, what you going to do? This is your job. You just going to sit there and you're going to be quiet? You ain't going to tell it like it is? And that's why they challenge us to say something like that. And I assure you, that if I was in an arena, that's exactly what they would have challenged me to say this morning.
There's no denying or knowing exactly the extent to which race plays a part in this, but this is the kind of primary, this is our country's original sin, and it absolutely influences all kinds of behavior in ways that are difficult to measure. That said, in this case, African-American athletes may be glad to know that owners and even the press has been doing this to athletes, white athletes, long before integration in sports. You know, when a guy would ask for a raise back when the major leagues were segregated, every newspaper column, part of it is just the natural haterism, right? But part of it is also they're sometimes basically working for the teams, right? Mm-hmm. For the powerful capitalists and industrialists back then. Mm-hmm. Would write things like, why he gets $25,000 a year for playing a children's game, right? It's a child's game, and he dares ask for more money. That takes the average person 2 years to make, right? You know, like, this has been going on since time immemorial in professional sports. Mm-hmm. I really do believe it has more to do with ownership-labor relations than it does race, but I'm sure race plays a part. Let me just say this. I'm going to introduce an economic term now. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. Homo economicus.
Okay.
That means the economic man. or you can call him the rational
You're really
man.
expanding my vocabulary.
Hey,
I just want you to know that.
Or the rational man. It's a
Well,
it's a,
he was there before my SATs. Imagine how I could have done
No, I
it.
appreciate it.
It's an economic concept about the ideal person interacting in a marketplace.
Okay.
That they always make the rational choice based on their best self-interest, the thing that would give them the most satisfaction, etc. That's not the way human beings work. But it is a premise that we accept, right? That it is rational for parties to be self-interested. That's what LeBron James is saying. It is he's 100% right about this.
He's
This part he's saying everyone is, or like we accept that idea that parties behave self-interestedly. That means players and teams, and he's simply pointing out when teams behave in a self-interested manner, no problem. When players do it, they're jerks. He's right. This is uncontroversial.
Yeah, you are right in what you're saying, but I don't think that was his point. And the reason why is because as black folks, particularly the black athlete, you are treated differently. I'll give you an example. Let me put it to you this way. In the black community, we have a saying. When white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. No matter what situation that you can grasp and you can correlate it to our experiences, what we would come back with is we know, but it's significantly more worse for us than it would ever be for you. So in other words, you can come to me from anybody from the athlete in the 1920s to the 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, and how the white athlete was stigmatized in a certain way by owners who had influence with the media and what have you, that treated athletes like pariahs if they didn't capitulate to their wishes, et cetera, et cetera. But what the black athlete is saying is that it's considerably worse for us, and it has been. And when you combine that with the fact that particularly in the sport of football and basketball, there's a large level of negativity attached to these guys, more so than exists in other sports, and those sports are predominantly black, it speaks to a plight that we face every single day, and there's the challenges that come with it, and that's what, to me, LeBron was alluding to.
It is not coincidental that the league that doesn't have a salary cap or a max contract is baseball, predominantly white, and the leagues that do are basketball and football, which are predominantly African American. I'm not saying it's a direct causal relationship, but it is correlated, and there's no question that you're right, that whatever I'm talking about labor relations, right, in terms of the economics of it and the way it's always been, race adds a layer of complexity to it always. My only point is it's unknowable to what degree.
But you're bringing in owners and what have you. And I'm saying LeBron wasn't really talking about that as much as he was talking about public, the average Joe out there that looks at an athlete and feels as if they should be appreciative. They say this about the black athlete. They don't say this about too many others, and they certainly don't say it about the executives and the owners who happen to be white.
LeBron,
that's what he was pointing.
They don't happen to be white either.
That's right.
Much deeper than it might appear.
Yes.